What if I told you the way you start your morning could determine whether you stay sharp or struggle to remember your own phone number? For millions of people over 65, the smallest daily habits are silently working against their health, leading to memory lapses, rising blood pressure, and a growing list of prescriptions. You wake up tired, your joints feel stiff. The doctor says it's just getting older, but deep down something feels off. You're not alone. And it's not your fault. But here's the good news today. I'm going to show you one simple habit you can start tomorrow morning that has been shown to boost memory, support your heart, and even lower your risk of cancer. Backed by science, easy to do, free, no pills, no fads, just one small act that could change everything. If you've ever said, "I just don't feel like myself anymore," this is for you. Before we begin, I want to hear from you. Where are you watching from, and what time of day is it for you? Please share in the comments below. Even just a small moment from your day, I truly appreciate it. And if you find this helpful, don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss what's coming next. In the early mornings of Vermont, when the fog still hugs the fields and the kettle whistles quietly on the stove, Harold begins his day with a simple glass of water. Not coffee, not orange juice, just clean room temperature water, slowly sipped as the sun rises outside his kitchen window. At 82 years old, Harold used to believe that his morning grogginess, forgetfulness, and low energy were just part of aging. But what he didn't realize was that his body had been starting each day in a state of quiet dehydration. And like many older adults across America, he simply didn't know how much of a difference hydration could make. You see, while we sleep, our bodies go 6 to 8 hours without water, yet they're still hard at work. Breathing, digesting, regulating temperature, all of these silent processes cause us to lose fluid overnight. By the time we wake up, our blood is a little thicker, our organs a little slower, and our brain just slightly underpowered. It may not feel dramatic at first, but over time, even mild dehydration can take a toll, especially on those over 65. That's why waking up with water isn't just refreshing. It's a form of care, a way to reset your body gently and naturally. Studies from the Mayo Clinic and NIH show that dehydration in older adults is closely linked to fatigue, dizziness, and impaired cognitive function. The brain, which is nearly 75% water, depends on proper hydration to fire neurons and support memory, focus, and mood. Without enough fluid circulation, slow's blood pressure can spike, and digestion becomes sluggish, especially in the morning when the body's trying to restart. Drinking 16 to 32 ounces of water within the first 30 minutes of waking helps rehydrate cells, support kidney and liver function, and kickstart metabolism. It's one of the easiest, most affordable habits you can build, and one that pays off daily. Harold's doctor recommended the habit when his blood pressure began creeping up, and he started experiencing more senior moments with names and appointments. At first, he was skeptical. How could plain water help where pills hadn't? But he committed. Every morning before breakfast, he filled a tall glass, sometimes with a slice of lemon or a pinch of sea salt for flavor and minerals. Within 3 weeks, he felt more alert. Within 3 months, his blood pressure stabilized, and his doctor reduced his medication dosage. And the biggest change, I feel like I get to start my day with clarity, Harold said. It's like turning the lights on inside my own head. For many older Americans, the road to better health can feel complicated, full of tests, prescriptions, and confusing advice. But sometimes it begins with something beautifully simple: a glass of water, a quiet moment, a signal to your body that it's time to wake up gently and well. So whether you live in the deserts of Arizona, the hills of Kentucky, or a Brooklyn apartment, this is one habit you can start tomorrow, because your body is still listening, and small caring choices still matter, perhaps now more than ever. Habit 2, walk briskly every day. Some of the best medicine in America isn't found in a bottle, a clinic, or a doctor's office. It's waiting for you just outside your front door, in the quiet sidewalks of your neighborhood, the tree-lined paths of a local park, or even the long aisles of a suburban shopping mall. It's called walking. And for those of us over 60, it might be the most powerful, overlooked tool we have to protect our hearts, our brains, and our independence. No gym membership, no special equipment, just your body, a good pair of shoes, and a decision to start moving. As we get older, our circulation naturally slows down. Blood vessels become stiffer, muscles lose tone, blood sugar becomes harder to control. That's why doctors across the U.S. from Seattle to Miami keep recommending one simple habit: a daily brisk walk. Not a stroll, not a shuffle, but a walk with purpose, where your heart beats a little faster, your breath deepens, but you can still hold a conversation. Research shows that walking just 20 to 30 minutes a day at a pace of about 3 to 4 miles per hour can reduce the risk of heart disease by nearly 30%. For older adults already managing high blood pressure or borderline cholesterol, that's not just a number. That's a lifeline. But the heart isn't the only organ that benefits. Let's talk about your brain. Your hippocampus, the part of the brain that helps with memory and learning, shrinks as we age, especially after 65. That's why so many older Americans feel frustrated when they walk into a room and forget why they came in. But here's the good news: walking has been shown to increase the size of the hippocampus in seniors, actually reversing some age-related decline. A 2018 study in the journal Neurology found that older adults who walked briskly daily showed greater brain volume and stronger memory performance than those who didn't. In addition to memory, walking also improves mental clarity, emotional balance, and helps reduce feelings of depression. For many older folks living alone or dealing with the quiet grief of aging lost friends, grown children changing roles, that walk becomes more than exercise. It becomes a moment of control, of presence, a chance to feel alive and connected to the world again. And in cities all across America, from the boardwalks of Santa Monica to the walking clubs of Pittsburgh, seniors are proving that this habit is both practical and powerful. Take Carol, for example. She's 76 and lives in a small town in Indiana. After her doctor flagged her rising cholesterol and warned of prediabetes, she knew something had to change. But Carol didn't want to join a gym or sign up for classes she wouldn't stick with, so she started small. 5 minutes around the block each morning, slowly but consistently. At first, her legs ached, her breath was short, but she kept going. By week 3, she was doing 10 minutes. After 2 months, she was up to 20. 6 months later, her cholesterol numbers had improved. She was sleeping through the night, and she started doing crossword puzzles again, something she had stopped when the brain fog became too much. But more than the numbers, Carol said the biggest change was how she felt. Walking gave me back a little piece of myself, she said. That's what makes this habit so powerful. It's not about burning calories or chasing fitness goals. It's about reclaiming your health on your terms with your own 2 feet. So if you're over 60 and wondering where to start, don't overthink it. Lace up your shoes, step outside. Walk at a pace that gets your heart moving but not pounding. Walk with a neighbor, a dog, or your favorite music. And most importantly, walk every day. Because in this country, in a culture that often forgets its elders, every step you take is a reminder that you still matter. You still belong, and your journey isn't over yet. Habit 3, mindful breathing and stillness. In the fast-moving world we live in, stillness has become something rare, especially here in America, where productivity is often praised more than peace. But as we grow older, many of us begin to realize that constant motion doesn't always lead to better health. Sometimes what our bodies truly need is the opposite: a pause, a moment of quiet, a chance to reset from the inside out. That's where the habit of mindful breathing and stillness becomes more than a practice. It becomes a lifeline, especially for older adults who feel like their minds are always racing, even when their bodies are slowing down. You see, the human body runs on 2 main nervous systems, one that speeds things up and one that slows things down. The sympathetic nervous system is your fight or flight response, the one that kicks in when you're stressed, anxious, or overwhelmed. The parasympathetic nervous system, on the other hand, is the rest and repair mode, the one that helps your heart rate slow your digestion work properly and your body recover. In modern American life, especially after retirement, we don't always realize how often we're stuck in fight or flight. Worry about bills, a fall in the bathroom, loneliness in a quiet house. All of these trigger stress even when there's no real danger. That's why practicing just 5 to 10 minutes of deep breathing and stillness every day can be so powerful. It tells your body gently but clearly you are safe, you are supported, you can rest. From a biological perspective, this kind of slow, intentional breathing lowers cortisol, the stress hormone that wears down our bodies over time. It also helps regulate blood pressure, improves heart rate variability, a measure of your heart's ability to adapt, and reduces inflammation throughout the body. That's not just theory. It's backed by real science, including studies from major American universities and journals like Frontiers in Physiology. But the benefits go beyond blood flow and hormones. Mindful stillness gives your mind a break from overthinking, regret, worry, and mental noise. It can help with sleep, with focus, with mood. For older adults dealing with grief, isolation, or anxiety, this habit becomes a way to regain emotional balance. And it doesn't require yoga pants, incense, or a trip to a retreat in Sedona. All it takes is a quiet chair in your living room, a bit of sunlight through the window, and a few minutes of presence. Let me share a story. Frank is 82 years old and lives in a small town in Pennsylvania. After his wife passed, he found himself struggling with high blood pressure and irritability. He tried medications, changed his diet, even cut back on coffee, but nothing seemed to bring peace to his days. Then his granddaughter, a college student studying nursing, introduced him to a simple breathing pattern called 4-7-8. Breathe in through the nose for 4 seconds, hold it for 7, breathe out through the mouth for 8. Frank started doing it every morning after brushing his teeth, sitting quietly in his kitchen near the window. At first it felt silly, like it couldn't possibly work, but after just 2 weeks he noticed a change. His mornings felt calmer, his heart rate stabilized, and most importantly, he wasn't snapping at the TV or getting overwhelmed by the news anymore. He said it gave him a sense of control, like he was back in charge of how his day began. And now it's part of his daily rhythm, like coffee, like walking the dog, like calling his sister on Sundays. Across America, from Maine to California, seniors like Frank are discovering that deep breathing isn't some new age trend. It's a return to something ancient and essential, your breath, your body, and your presence in this moment. So if your mind feels cluttered or your days feel heavy, start here. Breathe, sit, listen to yourself again. You don't have to fix everything at once, but this one habit, just 5 minutes of stillness, could change how your entire day unfolds. And for many, it becomes the calm center of a life that finally feels steady again. Habit 4, cold water exposure. In a quiet neighborhood just outside Denver, Colorado, a woman named Gloria begins every morning the same way, not with coffee or news, but with cold water. She turns the faucet to its coldest setting and lets the icy stream run over her wrists and face for about 30 seconds. It's not comfortable. In fact, it takes her breath away a little. But she smiles through it because she knows what it's doing for her body. For Gloria, now 76, that quick splash of cold is more than a wake-up call. It's a daily dose of vitality, a small act that has helped ease her joint pain, boost her mood, and sharpen her mind. Across America, more and more older adults are discovering what scientists now confirm: gentle exposure to cold can activate powerful healing systems in the body. This isn't about ice baths or plunging into a frozen lake in Alaska. It's about short, simple moments like ending a warm shower with 15 seconds of cool water or rinsing your arms in cold tap water after breakfast. And for seniors, this small shock to the system can create big benefits, both physically and mentally. The reason lies in something called hormesis, a natural biological process where mild stressors make the body stronger. Just like lifting weights builds muscle through challenge, brief cold exposure signals your body to adapt and become more resilient. When cold water touches your skin, your blood vessels constrict, then quickly open back up, a process that improves circulation and strengthens your vascular system. It also triggers the release of norepinephrine, a hormone that reduces inflammation and boosts alertness and mood. In fact, many people report feeling more energetic and clear-headed after just a few days of regular cold exposure. But there's another secret inside your body: that cold water helps activate something called brown fat. Unlike white fat, which stores energy, brown fat burns it, generating heat and helping regulate blood sugar and metabolism. As we age, our metabolism naturally slows down and blood sugar control becomes more difficult, especially for those at risk of type 2 diabetes. Cold exposure, even as short as 30 seconds, can stimulate brown fat to work harder, helping older adults maintain a healthier weight and steadier energy levels throughout the day. For someone like Gloria, who had spent years dealing with arthritis in her knees and morning stiffness, the change was almost unbelievable. Her grandson, a college student studying exercise science, suggested she try cold rinses after her shower, just 15 seconds at first. At first she resisted. "I've lived in Colorado long enough," she said, laughing. "I know how cold feels." But she gave it a shot. And within 2 weeks, she noticed something surprising: she was moving better in the morning. Her knees didn't ache as much. She didn't need to lean on the kitchen counter as often, and her mind felt clearer. Cold water doesn't cure everything, of course, but it does send a strong signal to your body, a signal that says, wake up, repair, stay strong. It taps into the biological wisdom that our ancestors knew instinctively: the rivers of Montana, the lakes of Michigan, the crisp ocean breeze of the Pacific Northwest. Our bodies were made to handle challenge, and gentle, controlled cold exposure is one way to reawaken that strength. You don't need fancy tools or a polar plunge. You can start by simply rinsing your hands in cold water each morning, or ending your shower with 15 seconds of cool spray on your neck and back. Some seniors like to keep a small bowl of cold water on the counter to dip their hands in while making breakfast. Others splash their faces after brushing their teeth. It's not about how cold or how long, it's about being consistent. In a country where aging often comes with prescriptions and long waiting rooms, this habit is refreshingly simple. Cold water, a deep breath, a few seconds of courage, and a whole new energy to start the day. Just ask Gloria. She says it best: "I used to wake up groaning. Now I wake up and say, let's go." Habit 5, deep breathing rituals. In a small town in Oregon, not far from the evergreen forests and quiet lakes, lives George, 81 years old, retired math teacher and proud grandfather of 7. For years, George had been struggling with memory lapses, trouble falling asleep, and blood pressure that never quite settled no matter the medication. Like many older Americans, he assumed it was just part of aging, something you learn to live with. But what George didn't know was that something as simple as his breath could hold the power to transform his health from the inside out. You see, as we grow older in America, we tend to focus a lot on what we eat, how much we move, or which doctor to trust. But few of us are ever told how important it is to breathe. Really breathe in a way that supports the body's deepest systems. Most people, especially under stress, breathe shallowly, quick chest-level breaths that barely fill the lungs. This kind of breathing keeps the body in a low-grade stress response, signaling to the brain that things aren't safe even when they are. Over time, it elevates cortisol, increases inflammation, and wears down both mind and body. Now compare that with deep diaphragmatic breathing, what some call belly breathing. This slower, fuller breath sends a completely different signal to the brain and nervous system. It tells the body to relax, to heal, to let go of the tension it's been quietly holding. Deep breathing activates the parasympathetic nervous system, often called rest and digest mode, which helps calm the heart, relax the muscles, and regulate digestion. It improves circulation, balances hormones, and can even boost immune function. One breathing technique that's especially helpful is called the 4-7-8 method, a simple rhythm you can do anywhere. You breathe in through your nose for 4 seconds, hold the breath for 7 seconds, and exhale slowly through your mouth for 8 seconds. You repeat this cycle 4 to 6 times, ideally once or twice a day, especially in the morning or before bed. It may sound too simple to make a difference, but the science says otherwise, and so does George. After his daughter introduced him to this breathing practice, George began doing it every morning before his coffee. He'd sit by the kitchen window, watch the sunrise over the Cascade Mountains, and count each breath in silence. Within 1 week, he noticed he was falling asleep faster. After a month, he was remembering details better, and his blood pressure had dropped to the best levels in years. He felt calmer, steadier, more present, like his body and brain were finally working together again. It was like flipping a switch, George said. I didn't realize how tense I'd been until I finally relaxed. Deep breathing may not be flashy. It won't show up on a lab report or make headlines on the evening news. But it's one of the most powerful tools we have to take control of our health, especially as we age. In a country like America, where so many seniors feel rushed, overlooked, or overwhelmed, this habit offers a moment of peace that belongs to you. No pills, no appointments, just a breath, slow, steady healing from within. And for people like George, it's proof that the simplest habits often make the biggest difference. Habit 6, sleep and wake up at the same time every day. Consistent sleep-wake schedule. Every night across America, millions of older adults lie awake in bed, staring at the ceiling, wondering why good sleep has become so hard to find. They try warm milk, quiet music, maybe even a sleeping pill or two, but something still feels off. And as the days blur together, they begin to wonder if this is just how aging works: more aches, less energy, and nights that never quite feel restful. But what if the real answer isn't found in what you take, but in when you sleep? Our bodies are guided by something called the circadian rhythm, a 24-hour internal clock that regulates everything from sleep to digestion to immune response. This rhythm is controlled in part by light and darkness, and it helps our brain know when to release melatonin, the hormone that signals it's time for rest. But in today's modern world with late-night television, glowing smartphone screens, and inconsistent bedtime routines, this rhythm is often disrupted. For older adults, that disruption can feel even more severe because melatonin production naturally declines with age. The result: trouble falling asleep, waking up too early, and a deep sense of fatigue that no nap seems to fix. Research from sleep centers across the U.S., including Harvard Medical School, shows that irregular sleep schedules can have serious health consequences. When the body doesn't know when to rest, hormone regulation gets thrown off, raising the risk of heart disease, type 2 diabetes, and even memory decline. In fact, studies have linked poor sleep patterns to a higher chance of developing Alzheimer's disease, especially in people over 65. The good news is there's a simple solution, one that doesn't cost a penny, but pays off in every part of your health. And that's creating a consistent sleep-wake schedule, even on weekends, and sticking to it. Like your health depends on it, because it does. Frances, a 78-year-old widow from upstate New York, learned this the hard way. For years, she struggled with daytime sleepiness and frequent nighttime wake-ups, often blaming it on stress or aging. But after speaking with her doctor, she committed to a new routine in bed by 10 p.m., up at 6 a.m., no exceptions. She turned off screens an hour before bed, read a few pages of a book, and let her body adjust to a new rhythm. After just 3 weeks, she noticed something remarkable. She was waking up without an alarm, feeling rested, alert, and even happier. Now Frances swears by her schedule. She no longer naps during the day, her memory feels sharper, and her blood pressure has improved without changing a single pill. It's like my body finally knows what to do again, she says. I just had to give it a little structure. In a country where we rush through everything, even sleep, this habit invites us to slow down and honor the body's natural timing. So if you're watching this from your home in Ohio, your porch in Texas, or your apartment in downtown Seattle, consider this your reminder. Sleep is not a luxury, it's a necessity. And when done right, it becomes one of the most powerful forms of healing we still have access to every single night. As we wrap up, I hope this video has reminded you of something important, that even the smallest habits can lead to the biggest changes. You don't have to do everything at once. Just one step, one choice, one new habit, that's all it takes to begin feeling more like yourself again. Because no matter your age, your health still matters. Your energy, your comfort, your joy, they're still worth protecting every single day. These tips are shared for general awareness. If you're facing any health challenges, be sure to check with your doctor before trying anything new. Everyone's body is different, and a personal conversation with your provider is always the best place to start. If something in this video spoke to you a moment that made you think, smile, or feel hopeful, I'd love to hear about it. Let me know in the comments below what habit you're excited to try, or simply type the word hope to remind us all that it's never too late to begin again. And if this video was helpful, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, turn on the bell, and share it with a friend or loved one who might need a little encouragement today. Until next time, take a slow walk, drink a tall glass of water, breathe deeply, and know that you're not alone. From my heart to yours, I'm wishing you comfort, clarity, and good health, one beautiful day at a time.